Well, the Prince and Princess of Wales will lead national tributes to the Queen on the first anniversary of her death. That's next month. In a shock move, William and Kate will step in for King Charles, who will instead mark the day quietly and privately.
Royal commentator Angela Muller joins us now to discuss this. Hiya, Ange. Did anyone see this coming?
No, we didn't, but there actually is precedent. So when the Queen's father died, it was February the 6th, she was at Sandringham. She sort of continued her winter break and again mourned privately. So Charles is really just following the precedent of his mother and has made a point of pointing that out. It's not like he's shirking his duties. That said, of course, he is 74, so he will be enjoying his summer holiday. To take a proper break, I think, is necessary. But of course, he and Anne were there when their mother died, so he will want to reflect privately.
Everything's so strategic when it comes to the palace. The fact that someone actually knows that's what the Queen did. So do we think this is a decision that Charles has made? Of course, it was his mother, but also to push
I think
Kate
there's a lot of reasons for
yeah.
that, very much to push William forward. I mean, William now is 41, Charles, as we said, is 74, so at any time William could come to the throne. Now, we know William is great at all these environmental, homeless, but when you have to have the gravitas to put across a message that relates to your grandmother's death, that requires something else, and it's about preparing him to be able to do that in the future. There's been no indication how that will be done, whether it'll be via Instagram or whether it will actually be an event. At this stage, we don't know.
Harry. There are reports he hasn't been invited to commemorate this special day with his family. Now, he's in Europe, right, for the Invictus Games. How's this rift going?
Well, he's going to be there the day after, on September the 9th, for the opening of the Invictus Games in Dusseldorf. So you'd think the timing is perfect, but as so often happens with this couple, they're just not included, are they? And you know, again, can you trust them? I mean, if they were to be there, you'd almost have to sign an NDA, wouldn't you? I mean, the amount of information that Harry sort of disperses as a result of any kind of contact with his family. So, no, I don't think we'll expect to see them. In fact, I think we may just see it's a fairly private event, that we don't see a lot of the royals on that day.
What if he wanted to go? Could he ask?
He'd have to write a letter, wouldn't he?
No, but if he wanted to go, if he was...
you know what? It would be a really nice thing, I think, for us to see the family together. But, I mean, it's William who's the really angry one. Charles is the one that actually wants a bit of peace between his sons and with himself, an older man, more conciliatory. But it's William, apparently, behind the scenes, who has really dug his heels in.
Now, this comes after, you might ask why, they've removed his Royal Highness prefix from any of Prince Harry mentions on the royal website.
Well, this was spotted by a British newspaper that he was still referred to as HRH, which of course he lost when Megxit occurred back in 2020. They're just updating. Apparently it's 500 pages of information on that website, and they're still going through it. Some things still refer to Prince Charles being Prince Charles rather than King Charles, so it's just a slow process. But interestingly, when the newspaper pointed it out 2 days later, that HRH is gone.
And this next question is a fashion question, so I'm just going to go ahead and let Kylie ask
Kylie.
it.
So this is the Meghan... Everyone disses Meghan, but the Meghan effect is in full swing because she wore a dress by an Australian designer. This was at her 42nd birthday. And the brand's going off now.
It is going off. It's this black and white striped dress by Posy, which is a Sydney-based label, very sustainable, capsule collection. Of course, the notion that Meghan can still influence is really interesting, isn't it? Particularly because she still wears a lot of those kind of beige colours. There was a huge piece in the Times on the weekend about how she still runs it with beige and tan. But look, I love this dress. What are you thinking about the horizontal stripes? I'm really liking them.
I love it. And I went straight to that website, as did hundreds of other people, millions of other people. So it's interesting that the dress has sold out.
Yes.
I think it had already sold out before she wore it, but I'd love to know what there are.
Interesting, though, because the website says we only do small runs on things, but if you were going to sell that many, like if you know that people want it, would you sort of like do another 100 on the side? Because good money.
Oh, it's on pre-order now, so you can yes, ask me anything. I know you can pre-order it. They're doing another run of it.
Have you pre-ordered it?
I have not as yet.
But
just for, you know, to make a point, I think the dress is $280.
Yes.
So it's not like it's a Zimmermann dress worth thousands.
Or a Dior.
That we saw Kate Middleton
Yes.
wear here. And a Sydney-based designer.
Yeah,
it's great.
affordable. It's great. And look, Meghan is really good at that. At getting Sydney designers or people from around the world, smaller countries, overland denim, remember? Those sustainable denim? She put them on the map and they're an Australian brand.
Do you think it's weird that we sit here and, most of the time we're slamming her, would you say? Like most of the time, and yet there's still this influence where she wears something and sells out. People still want to look like her.
I'd like her to do something interesting as well as wearing a nice dress. I want to see what happens next.
She looked fabulous.
That was pretty interesting.
She looked sun-kissed and Californian, and she had the flats on.
Didn't look like a harassed mother of two,
very,
did she?
Yeah, very cash. Speaking of young royals, Prince Christian of Denmark's 18th birthday. The plans have been revealed. What's he doing?
Can you believe this?
A
How
rave?
can he be 18?
No?
I know.
Not a rave?
It's not a rave,
Okay,
Kylie.
right.
He's got lots of special important events. He's going to step out on the Sunday, October the 15th for his birthday.
Who's that? Who's that?
That's his girlfriend.
I don't know, actually.
Yes.
I'm not sure. Do you think?
Yeah, she's from the continent.
How
She's
do
from
you
somewhere
know
else.
that? You're making that up.
No, I read it somewhere. Can someone tell me in my ear, please?
I have no idea
This
who
is
she
his
is.
rumoured girlfriend, but she's also she's a princess of somewhere. Yeah.
Larry, this is the first time in all these years you've had any intel at
Absolutely,
all.
and if we go back to the picture, I can tell you with great faith, it's a Zimmerman.
So what is he? He's got official.
He's 18. He's got an official balcony sort of walk out, on the morning. Then he's got an event in the evening with all these young sort of movers and shakers from Denmark, from different charities and things. We've got to hope that the following Friday night he's on the terps with his mates. Don't you think? He's got to do all the right things. Half a glass of champagne. It's your 18th birthday. You've got to have a bit of fun.
Yeah. Well, that's his Italian princess girlfriend, by the way.
Have you just had that
Yes,
told
I
you?
have. But I knew enough about it to spark a conversation. So I'm excited.
And what her name and pronunciation is, Larry.
Yes. How old do you have to be to have a drink in Denmark?
Oh, come on.
12.
I got called in first thing this morning. I don't know all this.
Oh, so we're all up on the frock, but we don't know about the drinking age in Denmark. All right.
Thank you,
I'll let you
Ange.
know.
Thank
Thanks,
you,
Ange.
Ange.